Always good to check in with our royal friend, and she's of course regal in many ways, but certainly her connections to the royal family are well and truly worth talking about here. The lady who literally wrote the book about Camilla's written one about Harry, and of course spends plenty of time with us, the lovely Angela Levin. Now, we know that the Invictus Games is, in my view, probably the best thing that Harry has done in public life, giving an opportunity for people who had been wounded in service to be able to come together, have fellowship and obviously compete in a sporting competition. But being 2023, it ain't about Harry anymore. We've got to talk about Meghan. Is it true that she's going to be turning up and not just turning up and cheering them on, she's going to pick up a microphone and tell them how to deal with their problems?
Yes, that's right. I mean, I'm furious that she's going because I agree with you completely. This is what Harry is really proud of. And for a, rare chance nowadays, usually behind Meghan like a servant, that he could actually stand in the spotlight and take a bit of joy himself. But she's coming and she's going to talk to, there's 500 people taking part, plus their family. And she's going to talk to these 500 people and about courage and resilience, right? Now, it's ironic and would be funny if it wasn't so tragic. She's not courageous. She's got no religious, I nearly said, resilience. She walks around showing us this little round thing that she had on her arm the other day. And this is to calm her and to help her, be comfortable with herself. I think she's obviously promoting it for some sort of organization, but, she still wants this victim image. And if you want a victim image, what on earth are you doing telling soldiers who've been wounded physically or psychologically as if you were telling them what to do? I mean, it'll probably be a lecture. They'll probably talk a lot about herself. Who wants that? No one, zero. I think because she's kept out of everything that Prince Harry's been doing, when he was promoting Spare, his biography, when he was going to court about accusing newspapers and the royal family Buckingham Palace it was called, for cheating on him with his phones, and also the coronation. She was nowhere to be seen, just when he needed somebody there for him. He needed his wife there because it was very, very difficult for him. She's not there. She's scurried off. But now she knows this is glorious and it's supposed to be a very good one. They've even got a few more countries taking part. No, she's got to be there. And they'll hold hands and it looked phony beyond phony. And that's not what it's all about.
But also, Angela, what strikes me here is that this is exactly the way that Meghan loves to have her communication. One way. She has the microphone, she has the power, she talks to them. But again, what is her expertise? What is the toughest thing that she's been through her life? Remember, they tried to pretend that they were in some sort of a near-death experience being followed by the paparazzi. They were filming it but then never released it because there's no evidence of it being near death. These are people that have literally faced death in the battlefield, and she's got the cojones, being polite here because it's Angela, she's got the stones to think that she's got something to tell them. They have something to tell her. She should be giving them the microphone and sitting there and listening to 500 people, not talking to them.
Yes, quite right. You see, but she won't listen to anybody she knows. She thinks globally. She thinks she's a wonderful woman who knows everything. And Harry agrees with her. It's all very well to love somebody, but you shouldn't be so servant-like towards them and listen to everything they say and do what you said. The other thing she's doing, which is interesting, is the hotels they're staying at. She's ordered a special type of linen for bed sheets, and she wants the rooms decorated in a certain way. And she's insisted on all the meals to be sent to her detailed, and she's correcting them if she doesn't want them. She makes everything so difficult. She has to be super grand when really she's a nobody. She's just hanging on to the tails of Harry just to have a title. But the other day, 2 days ago, it was sort of passed around that she now no longer wants to be attached to what happened in her past, i.e. at Buckingham Palace. She wants to be talked to just for herself. She wants all that to be forgotten. And Harry now likes to want to be called just Harry. He doesn't want to use his title. Yet they went through hell to get the children to be named a prince and princess. And they're not, if they don't want that, get rid of your titles and everybody will be very happy. But we have this hypocrisy that just keeps going on and on and on. That's absolutely ridiculous. And I wonder whether these new wacko PR people who are looking after her, top of the line, and they just let something go. So there's then a big response, and then you can unravel it and it doesn't exist anymore. So you've got 3 items or 3 stages out of 1 point. I can't see any other reason why they had the audacity to do something like that. I mean, after all they're fighting for it, they cling on to their titles as if they're on rocks and they've got to stay there, and they take no notice.
It feels like, these stories get rolled out, and again, who's interested in rolling out these stories other than these people or close to Harry and Meghan? These stories get rolled out, everyone reacts, as you say. They then get to turn around and say, no, this is all horribly false. But I also love what you were saying there about the reality of Meghan and Harry, which is, we're so informal, but when it comes to how to deal with them, where they stay, the hotels, it's literally the full royal treatment. There's no giant surprise there. But another one that's interesting here is, geez, I wonder who may well have told parts of the press that there's a chance that after the Invictus Games that Harry was going to end up meeting with King Charles. But surprise, surprise, that story's not true.
Yeah, there's another one. It's full of it, isn't it? It's just all of them. Yes, it was that he was going to pop in and see his father, but not just pop in and pop out, and talk to his father on his way after the Invictus Games, which last a week. And it's come out now that it's not going to happen. And Prince William certainly won't have anything to do with him, because he's still so furious about what he said about the royal family, what he said about him, Princess Caroline, and what he said about Catherine, not Caroline, sorry, what he said about himself. So I think that's off, although it wasn't really on. But again, I think they're doing this whole thing about they want to come back. There was the other week, it was they were going to rent a room in one of the palaces, rent a floor, and be there so that they can help. But nobody wants them to help. We've all moved on. And I think that this whole thing about pretending that they could come back, Meghan doesn't want to come back to the UK. We're much too small. We're not of any interest to her. It's all that if she can hang on to be in the public eye and retain a sort of amazing prima donna image of herself, then she's happy. But, it's just nonsense, and it's so irritating.
Now, also worth noting here too is Prince William. Now, he has supported English football in all of its forms for a long period of time, be it World Cup, be it Euro, be it, whatever it happens to be, he's well and truly front and centre. He made the decision not to come to Australia for when England was playing Spain in the Women's World Cup final. Now, I get it that you're damned in either direction, but if you turn up for lots of things, should he not have turned up for this, considering that Australia is part of the job brief, isn't it?
Oh, certainly it is. But actually, the king hasn't been there. And I think after a coronation, it's respectful that he comes and spends some time there, because I don't think that you would be pleased if he came whizzing over for a 90-minute football match and then left you straight away. I mean, that would have been very rude, I think. If he was coming to see you and Australians, which are our great friends, then you can't just buzz off straight away afterwards. But I think the main thing was that he's felt very strongly about the climate, and he didn't want to come over on a guzzling plane, which would use an awful lot. He sort of said to himself that if it's a quick trip, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to travel very far if it's a quick trip. And this would be a quick trip. and he doesn't want to look like a hypocrite. And I'm sure if he'd done it, the same people that have been shouting and screaming at him that, you know, you should have been there and what's he supposed to be? He thinks he wants to be a king and he's behaving like this. It would be the same people, because I'm sure it's just anti-monarchy, who would say bad things about him if he did go and bad things about him if he didn't go. But my own secret idea is that he doesn't want to look like Harry and be a hypocrite. And he can't really stand firm against Harry's behavior if he does the same thing and uses up a lot of, oil and all that stuff.
Fair point. Angela, thank you very much. Lovely to talk to you. You're welcome here anytime, regardless of how many climate emissions it will be. The planet can get over it, because we'd love to see you in Australia sometime very soon. Thank you, Angela.
Thank you. Bye.